Welcome back, everybody. Now, it explores the increasingly prevalent issues of teenage pregnancy, suicide rates, bullying at schools, cyberbullying, and colourism. That's a new film directed by international award-winning actor, producer, and creator Kagiso Modupe, starring Zikhona Bali, Thembi Nyandeni, Phele and Siyabonga Shibe. Bali joins us now to tell us more about Thando. Bali, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Right? Now let's talk about the issue of bullying, especially in schools. I know that it's caused so much distress among school learners, pupils, and even parents, and in some extreme cases, it has led to suicides. Let's talk about, the inspiration behind the creation of this film.
I wish but for me, I think bullying has become a pandemic of its own, right? And the movie explores that, and I think it wants to create a conversation ebazalini kwabantwana kotishala, so that we can take this seriously. We can start unpacking why is it happening. Yes.
Let's talk about your character then. What does that entail?
So Thando, she is a young teenager who is troubled and ukhulele kwimpilo ekhuliswa ngumakhulu ke phofu khulele kwimpilo noko kungekho resources uyabona, and then she's exposed to the life of blesser. She gets bullied at school, she's called all these kinds of words umnyamana because of the color of her skin, and she's abused verbally and physically. And without saying a lot, because I might just end up telling the whole movie, I'll stop right there.
Even though I'd love to hear, but no. I don't want to spoil the thrill and the fun. Let's talk about how you're able to fit into Thando's shoes. I mean, how much of difficulty did you have in filling those shoes?
Yeah, it was a lot because it's a serious story. So I knew that I was responsible, as the lead playing with Thando. Sure. I had to play her authentically, but also responsibly, Having seen what is happening around us in our communities and having heard stories of people that have committed suicide, young or old, I knew that I had to do some amount of research, but I think the core of it, 80% came from being present and from my own experience growing up as a dark-skinned girl.
Do you get a sense that this film would do enough in terms of raising awareness about bullying, and to get a sense that it could possibly offer solutions, perhaps, to the perpetrators of bullying?
I do think it's a first step. Especially if we encourage people to go see the movie, old and young.
Yes.
I think I'm hoping that it will be able to create conversation, start dialogue. Epalamente, kwabazali, ezikolweni, kotishala, kuwo wonke umuntu. Yeah.
Let's talk about working alongside the likes of Thembi Nyandeni and Phele. How was it?
I'm still hoping for more. She is so lovely. She's an icon. And Unobuntu, she took care of me. She was my mother and my grandmother on set. Kagiso created the safe space for me to be able to perform whenever I tap into character, whenever I'm going out of character. Cast and crew were able to support me, and Thembi Nyandeni was one of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after watching this film, what is it that the watchers of this film would actually learn and get so many lessons from?
It's that umntu akakho kude kuwe, it simply starts by a conversation. Umbuzo umntu unjani, sibe nobuntu mani, we must be compassionate. Umntu noba siyamazi noba simazi ke phofu. I'm really hoping yani ke izaba imove ezawuqala ezo conversations kwindawo ezithize ezikude nezimfutshane. Ubana how can we deal with this, how can we prevent it from happening? Yeah.
And I hope that some of these conversations that may be sparked by this film is whether bullying comes from an individual, or does it have to do with the upbringing of that particular individual or the perpetrator of bullying?
Yeah, it's such a sensitive issue. Just not so long ago, I was around people where there was a dark-skinned young girl by the age of 5 or 6, and a light-skinned girl. And I noticed that the dark-skinned girl needed so much compassion that it felt like she was bullying the other girl. But I remember saying to my cousins and the friends that, listen, we need to not be so aggressive.
Yes.
You know, because mhlambi khona into elekhayo, mhlambi ufuna uthando, mhlambi upbringing nje kuba nawo usitsho. Yeah. I hope I'm answering your question there.
And yeah, very well. You did very well. And I suppose reprimanding a child with more aggression, I suppose it'll fuel the problem even further.
True.
Because you're actually killing the child.
Yes.
You're making him to be an animal, isn't it?
Yes, instead of coming from a place of compassion and empathy. Yeah.
So what did playing this role, Thando, teach you about your own self and about your own acting capabilities?
There's strength in vulnerability, you know, and accepting yourself. Fortunately, I guess I'm coming from a place of privilege. Yeah. As much as I was teased for being dark-skinned and bikile, I had parents, rather my grandparents, encouraged me to embrace it. You know, every time I'd go to school, before ndiphume emnyango, Zikhona umhle. So it was more like of affirmations.
Affirmation, true.
Ba umhle, uyathandeka, dark-skinned girl, love yourself, whatever. So, yeah, I'm hoping that nabanye abantu bazawufunda lonto.
Sure.
You know, from the movie.
And we certainly hope that it'll teach so many people that bullying doesn't only occur in schools. You know, even adults get bullied in the workplace or anywhere, isn't it?
Cyberbullying.
Cyberbullying, for instance.
Cyberbullying, it's very problematic.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping nayo izaba into si focus on because I mean, we see with Urikirik and a lot of other people. It's become a huge problem, you know. So, yeah, it needs attention too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, you know, working with director Kagiso Modupe. He's an award-winning actor. He is just amazing. So what did that kind of relationship teach you about your own self again?
So I've always wanted to work with Kagiso because I remember we shot Ambitions ETV series, and he had all these stories that he wanted to put on screen. And I knew I wanted to be part of. Kagiso, you know, he's very nurturing. And he cares about the artist, but beyond that, he cares about uwena. You know, he'd check up on me, Bana, am I doing okay? Am I ready to tap into the character? Am I ready to tap out? And I learned a lot from him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where and when can you start watching this film?
On the 8th of April at New Metro Star Kineko, yonke indawo uzisa umzali wakho, abantwana bakho, abantu bakokwenu, malume otang, wonke umuntu ayobukela. The 8th of April.
From the 8th of April.
Yes.
Great chatting to you, Ms. Bali. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Directed by international award-winning actor, producer and creator Kagiso Modupe, Thando is a film that explores the increasingly prevalent issues of teenage pregnancy, suicide rates, bullying at schools, cyberbullying and colourism, and stars Zikhona Bali, Thembi Nyandeni and Phele.
They say, unlike a restaurant, life has a tendency of dishing out what you never ordered. That's where the expression, life is unfair, stems from. If I were to say life is unfair, it would be an understatement.
You've been yellow-boned.
If you want to kill yourself, you must do it alone.
I told Gogo I got a part-time job doing promotions over the weekends. Just like everyone who makes a deal with the devil, there is always a price to pay.